What's up, y'all? I am back with my second and final video of the day. I actually decided to do The Best Man, the final chapter that's on Peacock. Um, this might be a little lengthy, but I just wanted to give everybody something to watch if you're not doing anything for Christmas like me. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Tell me what you think about the video, and here we go. So the episode starts with the montage of the friendship over the years. And they end the montage with Q asking Harper to be his best man and asked them, hey, you better not have slept with her. So now we fast forward with Harper in 2024, and he's saying in his 50s. He's now he said at the half of the century, which is 50. So he said he's in his 50s and finally figuring it out, finding his place in the world, achieving happiness. Harper said when he was younger, he thought about money and everything, house, car, kids, the dream, and he realized it's much more than that. He said being in a successful relationship takes a lot of work. So we see him get up to the podium. Of course, he's doing some type of speaking engagement. He says, how often do we meet our soulmate? And we see that the camera pans to Jordan. And he says, life doesn't go the way we expect. He also says, somehow, if we are lucky, we end up where we are supposed to. Now, I've seen it a lot. So when I first saw it, I didn't think nothing about it. Could have been a possibility with him and Jordan, or it could be. Anyway, we go back to where it started, and we picked back up in 2015. And we see Shelby on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. And y'all, Shelby looks amazing. I forgot her real name. I totally forgot her real name. But she looks amazing in real life. And Andy tells Shelby all of her fans want to know about Quentin. How does she feel? How does she feel about him getting married? So he actually shows, she lies and says that, Quentin is my friend and I'm okay, yada, yada, yada. So y'all, he shows the montage where cameras are actually filming her, because y'all know she is a reality show star as well, and she was filming. So when she got the call, she found out he was getting married. She freaked and she flipped out. So they showed the montage of Shelby getting her toes done, and at this point she is pissed. She heads over to Spivey Enterprise, and y'all, she is definitely trying to turn Quentin every which way but loose. And so the cameras are everywhere. She actually before she got to Spivey, she got out of her car because she was fussing and cussing and hopped in a cab. The cab took her over to Spivey, and then, baby, she was trying to get Quentin because she was hot. So Andy, they then come back. Andy tells Shelby it seems like she's scorned. And so he tells her, do you know he's marrying? And so Shelby was like, well, no. She lies, of course, and says no. So he tells her that he's marrying Ziamora Amari, aka the unicorn. But Shelby acts like, she ain't salty, but we all know she is. Anyway, so we get to Harper's place, and he's typing. He gets a phone call from Stan. Y'all remember Stan was in 1 and 2 in both the movies. Stan was his editor, and I want to say the manager. And Stan tells Harper that Hollywood wants to make Unfinished Business a new movie. So Harper goes into the kitchen. Robin is cooking. Of course, Robin has a mess everywhere. We see little Mia. She's very cute. She's getting bigger. And Harper tells Robin about the movie. Of course, Harper says he wants to be taken seriously because he's definitely hard on himself. Robin tells him that he has done great over the years, but of course, he he acts as if he doesn't believe it. Sometimes I think he only believes it when Jordan says it to him, but that's just me. But he goes to Robin for comfort, but I also think that comfort he gets from Robin, he really wants it from Jordan. But that's just when I look at it, I could be wrong. So he asks Robin if she thinks that he should do the movie. Robin tells him that he should. Of course, Robin is always supportive since day one. She also tells him to do a temperature check with his peeps, and that he should start with Lance, of course. So Robin and Harper has lunch with Candace and Julian. They're meeting at a restaurant. Candace tells Harper that Murch is salty about not being the best man. That they're getting an award for their school. They just have lunch and catch up. They talk about the wedding, how expensive this wedding is at the moment for the things that they're paying for. I think they're paying for everything except for the hotel. Of course, that's a free stay because of Quentin. So then we see Shelby and Jordan meet up, and Shelby is trying to get information. Basically, Jordan was telling her, I'm not giving you any information. Shelby was like, well, I don't want to come, or something like that. But we knew she really did want it to be there. And Jordan tells Shelby she wasn't invited. So we know that Quentin purposely did not invite her. So Jordan tells Shelby that Brian was great. Y'all remember Brian McDougal. the white dude. The cutie from Holiday. She said he was great. I guess they just wasn't it. But of course, he's not Harper. I'm going to keep saying that. He isn't Harper. So Shelby asked Jordan. No, Shelby then, tells her she's sorry about her and Brian not really working out. And Shelby then asks Jordan, who's next? And Jordan says, nobody. She doesn't need a man right now. She's going to enjoy the trip, and she's going to work, and she's not looking for anybody. And again, ultimately, it always felt like, if you watch all the movies and even this series, that she waits around for Harper. That's wow. That's insane. But she tries not to make it obvious, but she's always loved Harper. Anyway, Shelby asks, how is Lance and the kids? Because Jordan tells her that her job, she does her job at MSNBC, and she's part-time, with Lance's kids. And so Shelby asks, how is Lance and the kids? And then in the next scene, it flashes to the next scene where we see Murch and Harper go into a hotel. They actually went to go visit Lance. And Murch tells Harper that, who are you going to have me to play in the book? Please note, I'm not the same person that I used to be. So in that moment, he's letting him know, yeah, I knew I was passive, but but don't play me as passive. He's making it known. Just keep that in mind for the rest of the series. So they knock on the door. Lance comes to the door with a face full of hair, a robe, just everything out. Kind of wish the camera would have, but no, we don't get all that. But he was looking a mess with his fine. So let me tell y'all real quick. My mama used to say all the time, Morris Chestnut is the man who make her moist. Ill. Shout out to my mama. She has gone on to be with the Lord. Okay. So y'all, we see that Lance is actually going through grief, except he's using his grief to get wolf coochie. Okay, that's all his grief. He thinks that if he gets a lot of wolf coochie, it's just, I don't know if he thinks that it's gonna go away, but he tries to suppress it, but it's always there. So he tells the guys that he doesn't want to go home because Mia is everywhere. Mia is in the bed, she's in the clothes, she's in the kids, she's everywhere. So rather him dealing with it, he dealing with it through sex. Harper tells Lance, Mia doesn't want this. And he says that, with a smile on his face, he says that I'm ashamed. I'm really ashamed. Until the women start throwing that Taz back, okay? So Murch tells Lance, thank God that you got your vasectomy. And lo and behold, he did not get a vasectomy. And he admits that he raw dogs the women 75% of the time. And I call cap. I think he raw dogs all the time. Ill. And pray nothing doesn't happen. So they told him to take baby steps. Start by dating. Lance says he doesn't want to date. He doesn't want to care about anybody like that ever again, the way he cared about Mia. Because he thinks that something is going to happen. Not true. That was just Mia's situation, but that's his grief also. Because I want to say in the movie, that was in 2013. And then we started this series and it, like 2015. It flashed back to 2015. So everything is still fresh. So we get to the Spivey Resort. Y'all, the water is beautiful. The resort is beautiful. Everything, the people, the accent, everything is beautiful. And so everybody except for Lance meets up with Quentin and Zia Moore. And in that moment, we see how different Quentin is. He's like, oh, I'm Zen, I'm Quentin, I'm the Zen man, I sage, I don't smoke weed. Like, usually, if he see Harper, he'd be like, Harper, he usually have jokes. He usually, Quentin is Quentin, but not this time. He's a different person with Zia Moore. And that could be a good thing because, everybody's different, but Harper noticed it off rip. So here go Murch kissing behind because he wants the best man spot. He's mad because he was not selected the best man. He doesn't get mad, but he acts it out in different ways. So then they ask, well, where is Lance? So they flash back to Lance in the truck with the driver, and he in there clapping them cheeks. Ciao. So then we meet Jasmine. Jasmine is the facilitator of the island. She is very beautiful. She's very meek. She has such a kind soul, and her accent again is beautiful. I live. So Harper says to Quentin, Harper and Robin is in their room. Harper says that Quentin seems different. He said Quentin would have had jokes and lots of jokes. So Robin was like, they're cute. They're in love, And so their scene comes where she comes out with just her shirt, and y'all know what happens after that. So then we get to Jordan. She's in her room on FaceTime with Shelby. We found out that Shelby is constantly calling her. Jordan is like, I'm not going to tell you where we are. I'm going to enjoy this, and I'm hanging up with you. And that's just it. So then Lance finally meets Jasmine. She gives him the itinerary, but Lance, they're talking. He was like, she said, you have a couple of admirers. And he was like, so y'all must watch American football. He said that. And she was like, we pretty much watch, I think they call it soccer out there. And so he finds a way to be condescending because we know Lance, his character has always been condescending in one way or another. But he tried to do it nicely. Anyway, Harper is sitting down with Jordan. Everybody's getting ready to go, wherever they were going. Harper is sitting with Jordan, and he tells Jordan about the moving. And of course, she's happy for him. Jordan wants to be represented. He said, in her book, she talked about how he summarized Kendall, because y'all remember she was Kendall in the book, and he was Jackson, I want to say. And so he said in his book that Kendall was overworking, stuff like that. So she was like, as a black woman, it's okay that we work hard, and we want to be displayed as black women, just, working hard as we do, just like any other race and just like any other sex. And I was here for that. So then Jordan notices Quentin behavior as well. And she tells Harper he's very different. So they both agree. He was like, that's what I've been trying to say. Quentin is different. So then everybody comes, and then Harper gets up and leave, and he she takes her time. She takes that moment to make a phone call for work, because she has not stopped working at this point. So before he walks out the door, she was like, I need you to get Beyonce to play me. And he was like, mm-mm. And I don't know what he said, but she was like, get your money up, brother. I was like, okay, that was cute. So Robin is sitting down, her and Candace, and she's actually taking in the resort. She's taking in the moment. And I just was like, oh my God, get me to a resort, and I promise y'all I'm going to take in every second, every minute, every hour, every part of that journey. No matter where I go, I think that's what I'm going to start doing. So if it's any travel that I have to do, I'm going to learn how to enjoy the moment. So that meant something to me. I actually like that. So in the next scene, Jordan is fussing about her fish because they ran out of a certain type of fish that she wanted. And, she throws her privilege around. I'm the friend of the owner. I want this. And so the man here, the chocolate sex, Willie, he hears her voice, and he goes over there. He was like, listen, I have what you need. You can have it if you want. And in this moment, he was showing interest in her. But of course, she denies herself of his interest, and she liked it. She enjoyed it, but she denied herself. So in the next scene, we get that original scene where the guys are sitting down playing spades. Quentin tells the guys how he met Ziamora. He said he wants to settle down and leave a legacy. And then Murch tells them that, hey, I purchased some edibles. I know I'm skipping something, but I didn't write it out. So he tells them he purchased some edibles, and he dumped all the edibles on the table. And Quentin was like, I don't smoke weed no more. And everybody was like, get out of here. And they don't believe him, So Harper was getting ready to tell Lance about the movie. But before he can tell him, Quentin's dad walked in. And he's basically rude to everybody except for Lance. And so the advice he gave Lance was looking at him like, okay. And so then he talks to Quentin about, he looked over the paperwork about that the contracts that Ziamora attorneys handed to him. And meanwhile, Harper is listening to all of this. And so Quentin was like, do we have to talk about this now? And so, they decided, they had the little conversation. So then we see Robin. She meets Savannah. Savannah is an islander who runs the food stand out on the beach. And we see that Savannah and her husband runs the food stand. Savannah has been running a food stand for 20 years. She has a passion for it, for the beach and for the people and the food. I feel like when your energy is good and you're cooking, your food is going to be great. Everybody's going to enjoy what you're cooking because your energy is good. And to me, your spirit and your energy is everything. So that's just how I take it. I believe in that. So then we get to the next scene where Harper tells Quentin how he want to be happy, just like he's happy with Robin. Murch is happy with Candace, and Lance was happy with Mia. He said that when Mia died, it messed him up really, really bad. And he tells him that he's happy and he's in love with Zia Mora. She makes him happy, and that he teaches her how to be with his, to respect his body, and that his body is his temple. He also tells Harper that he's going to move to Tibet and I want to say Colorado, so they'll be in between the two throughout the year. And so Harper is really taken aback, like, whoa, like, you leaving? You just gonna leave? And so Harper didn't like it, but again, that's him, that's Quentin, And so Murch walks out, asks them what they're talking about. They tell him, and he's automatically happy for him. But I feel like Murch is already happy for him because he's competing again to be the best man, and it's already been decided. Y'all, Murch is working on my nerves, and Murch is probably one of my fave, but he was working on my nerves. So they're on the balcony. They look down. They see Lance. He take off his robe. He has nothing on under his robe, just butt booty naked, looking good. Sir, but you ain't supposed. You supposed to have on some clothes before you get some swim clothes before you hop in that pool. I was like, thank you, Lord. Look at that, man. Sorry. Anyway, so then Jordan runs into Will once again. She plays hard to get, and she was like, he basically tells Jordan about her daily life, and he's right. She doesn't have fun. Fun to her is working all day, maybe brunch with her friends once a week, and working all night laying next to her computer or her phone working. And so as we see Jordan works herself, and we'll see, how that working herself, how it kind of falls in throughout the episodes. And once again, she's denying herself of this man. Anyway, so Lance actually comes out of his room. He runs right into Jasmine and apologizes for skinny dipping in the pool and making such a scene. She tells him to explore the island and give him the itinerary for the date, just to explore the island and get a different perspective of what a different view of what he's seen now at the island. And so Candace is getting irritated with Murch, and so am I. So we see Lance overlooking the view, the water, the moon. It's just at night. It's beautiful. It's everything. And Jasmine walks up on him. He actually has a vulnerable moment, and he shares his moment and his feelings with her, to the point where he's letting his guard down, and now he asks her to call him Lance because he's now starting to see Jasmine. And Mia. And I think in some ways, Jasmine has some similarities to Mia to him. The kindness, how Mia was, just very, not passive, but very subtle, very kind. And so that's what Jasmine displays. Jasmine is a nice woman. And so, we didn't see Harper and Lance Harper tells the ladies he's going to go get them a drink. Murch leaves the table so he can get a refund on his cannabis, on his edibles. I don't know how. Anyway, Lance tells Harper about the women, the total number of women he slept with. I want to say it's only been one day, and I think he slept with 4 or 5 women at that resort. Harper tells Lance about the book, and before that, Harper does give Lance a speech about sleeping with all the women. He was like, "Well, I thought you was gonna go hiking, go and check out the resort. Not none of this." And so, and then Harper shares about the book. Lance gives Harper his blessing in that moment, and then, they dap it off and just go from there. So Quentin's dad make a speech. He hands the microphone to Zero Mora, and she takes this moment to grandstand and be weird. And then we see that they get matching tattoo rings. So Candace was like, "Do we have to sit here and watch this?" And so apparently so, Sister Soldier. So Harper once again expressed his concerns with everyone that that Quentin is making a mistake, because he knows Quentin. And so Lance gets annoyed in that moment, and he says he knows Quentin to be a good judge of character, and we do know that. Quentin is probably one of the best judge of character. And so Lance takes this moment to be passive aggressive, more aggressive, and gets mad at Harper about the project. And so Harper was like, "Well, I just asked you a few minutes ago and you said you were okay with it, and I didn't want to do it until I got everybody's blessing." So Lance was like, "Well, Mia isn't here, so how are you going to get everybody's blessing?" At that moment, you were being stubborn, you were being passive aggressive. And so he aggressively throws a napkin at Harper, because you're still mad at him, and he walks off. And so I think my understanding is, I just don't understand why everyone acts like they're scared of Lance and scared to tell him the truth. The only person who really tells him the truth is Quentin, and sometimes Harper. But Harper acts like he's scared to go and tell him, like, "Hey, they want me. This is my money. I need to go do this X, Y, and Z. And it is what it is. You made your money. Everybody else making their money, and I want to make mine. I've already apologized for what I've done. You've already forgiven me. So, okay, we can move forward. I get that you are grieving, but nobody wants to say that to Lance. I don't know why." And so Shelby walks in and she says, "Julian." And y'all know that's what she used to say before. She was like, "Oops, old habits. Hello, Quentin." And the episode goes off. I am definitely going to review all 8 episodes, y'all. It's actually good. I've watched it many times, and I'm hoping to get a different perspective every time I look at each episode, because I'm sure I missed something before because I was just watching it. Anyway, that is it. You guys have a Merry Christmas. The next time you'll see me is probably tomorrow evening after I review Zatima. Because again, that comes back on tomorrow. I'm not sure of anything else. Oh, and then Bell Collective, which comes on Friday, I will review the reunion part 1. So, once again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see y'all on the next one.